Yo, Bass and Bonsai, back in the house, not out on the water. It's actually a nice day, but crazy windy. Tried to do some test casting with this already. Really too windy to tell anything. That and the fact the line I put on it, I cast it all off like right off the bat, and I'm like, oh, so never mind. So welcome to the show. We've got baits to put up and a reel to get ready to. We can't just add this reel to our arsenal without changing it, right? I know we're not going to single lifestyle reels anymore unless I decide to, and probably BFS only kind of thing, and not all BFS. But we're going to put this handle on one of these drag stars. But before we do that, we got to do some housekeeping. So I bought these new baits, and if you guys remember looking through my tackle boxes earlier, they're already stuffed. So you know what that means? Throw it all out, right? No, we have to make some room. So first off, we'll go with the easy bait. And it's easy to make room because there is room. So we'll go with our little, and we're going to do some size comparisons also. So we've got our little bitty bait, and if you remember right, I've got my favorites in a separate thing, but there is a 110 Junior +1. So this Bass Pro version should be about the same size bait. If you guys want to compare. So it is a little bit smaller actually. That's a little bitty dude. And I'm not sure if the true Vision 110 Junior is smaller than the +1. I thought it was just the bill. So this is a touch smaller overall bait. But anyway, we're going to slap him in here somewhere, probably with, hang on. I always recommend to do this, and then I find myself not doing it. So this is just a little two treble hook bait. So still yet, we're going to kind of tame down these treble hooks. And we're just going to throw it with this one. This is another little knockoff, but it does have 3. And it is even smaller, but it has 3 treble hooks. This has 2. So we kind of have, I'm not even really trying to, I was just getting some of the different little cheaper versions. But we ended up with 3 different size small square bill, smaller than your standard size Vision 110s. So yeah, square bill's done. I'll probably get a couple more actual mega bass. I probably won't get any more of the RC sticks or very many other ones. There's a Shimano with flash boost is in there. Probably won't get any more of those. My early thoughts on the flash boost, I'm not overall impressed. If you get a bass right up there looking at it when it's doing this little flickety shake, possibly might make it hit it, but the attracting power, in my opinion, the Vision 110 and RC sticks are one of those would be more work better. So let's go with oh boy. Let's go with what else will fit in easy enough. Let's put up our mid to whatever diving one. And while we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and tame the hooks down on that. And if, for those of you that don't know, you don't have to do this, but you can go to any dollar store, general store, Walmart. Not going to find it in the fishing aisle, but somewhere in the ladies aisle, these little, I think they're to hold hair, I don't know, they're very little bitty bands. Dollar store, you can get them $1.25 for like a whole bunch of them. That thing is already cracked. You guys see that? That's where that bill's already got a crack started on it. Just pulled it out of the package. Haven't done anything to it. Doesn't that look like it's already cracked to you guys? Look at that. Well, looks like that bill is already cracked. Maybe just the way they're glued together. We're gonna try it. I'll be honest, me and Spro, we're kind of like me and Strike King. They make good baits, but is there something better out there? So now I officially own two the Rock Crawler 55s. I got a couple other Spro baits in there. Of course, that 3XD, speaking of Strike King. Sexy Shad, probably my least favorite color. I don't know why. Just, I'm telling you guys, I don't know. I know. Strike King catches tons of fish worldwide, right? Yeah. Who put these jabberjaws in here without controlling them? And I'm kind of just stalling, waiting for all... Eddie, that's the name. Eddie, I've always been trying to think of your name when I talked you into buying the... oh, now I can't even think of the name of the bait. The Booyah Hard Knockers. Now, the Spro baits, that's what Eddie's saying. I keep hearing good things about the Rock Crawler from the guys here locally, Average Joe's Fishing Club. There's several guys that swear by them. I mean, they catch fish, but they're, I don't know. Honestly, the only bait that has caught my, like, wow, this bait I think has something is the LV500. I picked that up, like, first cast to the 6th cast in a row in 42-degree water. I caught fish with it. That's my idea of, hey, maybe I'm missing something with this bait. You know, but I still was catching good with the Booyah Hard Knocker, and they catch bait. And then last season, these little baits, mainly the shallow version in this color, really seems to be a bait. But the jabberjaws, I kind of got on. I mean, I've caught a big 5-pounder already and different stuff. There's other baits I've had that I've fished for like a year or two and don't feel I ever got on a good bite or didn't catch any big fish. And I was fishing them more times they should have worked better. But anyway. So this season is all about tracking down some of those it factor baits, right? They just have that it. They get bit. Fish can't resist them. May not be all season long. May have little windows, but there's just times, right? Okay, I just got a confirmation that the new chicken at Chipotle is fire. Speaking of the fire tails. So far, these baits, Charles has done real good with them, that color specifically. But so far, I'm not a big fan of wiggleworts in general. I've got some. I'm trying to make myself like this range of baits. You guys know me. You can tell by looking at my rattle trap box. When it goes to a little deeper than a square bill, you know, or chatterbait type things, or where you would throw a spinnerbait, I feel I have a better rattle trap game going where I can bounce that around and down there, and I mean, but there's probably times when this would be the better option, right? So that's what we're doing this season. So that was the only one I'm adding, and that is probably the last one of these guys you see me get, except for I may get a more, other than that, Sexy Shad, some kind of a white variant, because I feel I've got most of the most of the colors covered, other than something closer to one of these guys in one of these guys. Either these are a little cheaper than the Rock Crawler, but I wanted to get this one. That color and the Delta Craw, I've been wanting to get that color, and it may already be done for the season. It may have to wait till next early or late winter into early spring before it kicks back in, but it'll be in the box, right? Crack and all. So let's keep going. We got to get these baits put up. Now my next, this thing, oh my God, you can kind of tell I like square bills. Chatterbaits and square bills are probably well, not probably, they're my favorite, like, two things. And I usually I probably need to try to go square bill or hard bait over chatterbait first, but I usually don't. I like a chatterbait first. So I'm just going to show you there. And I've had to take and weed some out, and there's my square bill box. mainly littler square bills, except for here lately the Jabberjaws have. And I may weed out some of the Jabberjaw colors this season and just totally, if I feel, I don't know, there's just some of the colors I feel that I probably shouldn't have got. So I may be weeding out not the Jabberjaws, but some of the colors. So I wanted to try to do a size comparison. Some of you guys are, I'm sure, are curious, even though you can read, the 1.5 or the what's a, how does a Rocco compare to the 1.5s, the S cranks for Mega Bass, that kind of stuff. So let me get a better one. This one's got a chip out of it. Here is a very good imitation of a crappie, if you ask me. This one was just bought off eBay. I don't even know who the painter was or whatever. I think there's a name right there. I don't know if I can read it or not. JDC. I ain't the same person that painted that custom of mine, is it? No, I don't think so. No. PBC. JK. Just kidding. Painted that, but they were trying to make that look similar to a crappie and the Mega Bass white python. That came out good, just like a thing. But this was, you could tell they were trying to do it, and that is not. That's an actual. I can't tell if they used like a print and then painted over it, but that is that's a good bait. This bait does work good. So anyway, S crank. There's the I thought it said what it was on it. I want to say curve 55 is what they call that. So the S crank, and here's a 1.5. I would call these baits very close. A lot. The Lucky Craft, it doesn't look shorter, but it's a little shorter. It's not as big a body quite as much, but silent. Ow. Now most of you guys will know a Strike King 1.5. Now I don't know for sure. You guys comment. I was watching John Cruz talking about who was the first one that came out with one. The true square bill didn't quite look like these, but then I can't remember who he said was the first one that came out with this, and I want to say it was Lucky Craft. I think what you kind of everybody knows now is a 1.5 is typically the standard size and shape. Was the Lucky Craft. Of course, Strike Kings looks very. That is a 1.5. They are all very close. When you get a 1.5 square bill, there's a lot of companies that are very close. So then the Rocco to that is balsa. Got the circuit board lip. Almost the exact same, though. If you really look at it, it looks different because there's a little more of the balsa sticking out than these have the plastic sticking out the front. But the overall shape and what they are going to do. Now this being balsa should float up faster, right? It should, typically go through stuff. Now, if they're designed right, when they add if they make these lips right, this one's actually made, in my opinion, a little too stiff. I believe it's Mega Bass makes one now that sort of like the Mega Bass makes their Vision 110 to where the front lip will flex a little. It lets it it makes it more erratic than it would be when it's stiff, because it depending on how hard you pull, it could give way and let it jump a way or two. And so some of the, not the S crank that I showed you, this big dude here, this is a knockoff anyway, but they make the newer Z ones or whatever. I've heard those are pretty good baits for out in more open water. But most of these square bills, just like the Rocco and them, are designed to bounce and deflect and work in around shallower water like a 4x4, right? And we've got the smaller ones, and like the one I showed you that was a custom painted. Most of the 1.0, so the Rocco 5 or whatever they call it is roughly the same as a 1.5. And then you got the 1.0, which we've got the Bill Lewis ones we're trying also. I've always liked the smaller ones. You guys seen the Dig It? I've kind of liked this size or smaller, and it wasn't until I'd fished the S-Cranks, the fact that they can kind of hunt out. So I really don't use these like a square bill. This is just kind of an open water, shallow crank. Even though it is a square bill, I don't really try to throw this by wood because it will get stuck if you guys get any of the S-Cranks. So if you wanted to try to go with a bait that hunts, in my opinion anyway, you go with the Megabass S-Crank or a knockoff S-Crank or the new Z2, Z1, 3, I don't know, I forget what they're exactly called. I haven't bought any, probably won't. I do know that, I want to say, and I believe it was Norm Coulter that had recommended on these, you want to tie directly to the bait. No snap, swivel, none of that. They will hunt better if your line is tied directly to that. As that's why all of these don't have anything on them. And when I was getting serious and using them, I tied directly to them. So anyway, let's compare. So you've got the Jabberjaw is definitely just a bigger, more menacing. I think it's a louder. There's no rattle in it, but just the noise it makes with the blade. I think it's a little more menacing bait. So like when they're on and hitting, that's why I think sometimes this can generate that little bit. But it might be get to a point where it could spook them. That's when you're like silent ones. To where any of these others, maybe the Rocco, the Lucky Craft, or the possibly the Strike King, probably not in the Sexy Shad. Everybody says they love that color. I'm looking at 3 baits just in this box and the one I just showed you, another box, and I think I've caught, finally I caught 1 fish on this the last trip out maybe. So we're gonna see, and it looks so close to this you think it would work. I've caught way more fish on that color Jabberjaw just using it last season than I have in my whole entire life fishing the Sexy Shad color. Guess I just don't have any confidence in it. So anyway, we got to find a place. Oh my goodness, there ain't no way they'll fit. There is no way. This dude's going to go in the other box, but. So you can also tell I picked out, I kind of decided on my white color to go with on the Lucky Craft stuff, right? I may get one of their more natural shad type. Oh my god, it's hooking on there. Get off of there. But I kind of like that oyster color is probably my favorite. I spotted it first on the Strike King Red Eye Shad, but then several other companies have their version of like an oyster. It's basically just a kind of pearl white with a dot somewhere along the line, a little bit of blue haze around it. But these Lucky Craft baits, those should be very good. I really like this color. Got that little hint of pink, which could probably be seen as red. Very good colors. Ow. So I'll tell you what, we're gonna put those up later. I don't even have room to put the ones that I took out back in. It feels like the box is over full. I have no clue what we're gonna do. Our square bills have gotten out of hand. I guess I could take all those Strike Kings out of there. That gave me more room. But while we got room, let's put this bait up. As you can see, I got some of my whites. I've got the Booyah Hard Knocker, the Quake 70. There's a half-ounce Booyah Hard Knocker. There's a couple of the oysters I just talking about, the red eye shads. We're going to add that dude right there. Over here with the LV500s in a whole different color. Got a couple LV500s in there along with the Duke. And we're just going to leave them like that. We are loaded up for bear on our... I might add one more or two more white. I don't have as much luck. I've got some buried down in here like a... I kind of feel kind of maybe more natural, but like a... kind of like that dude. Like something a reflective, sided one, a white one, and then these craw colors, and maybe a couple different greenish colored ones. Kind of a bright, maybe not quite a fire tiger, but we had a fire tiger and then a chartreuse one in there somewhere. Most of my luck, you usually come off of like the Toledo Gold or some sort of a bony kind of white. And a couple different days, almost like solid type white. So anyway, everything is put up except for, I got to redo, I'm just going to put this off on hold. Here's how we're going to do it. I'm just going to take them, put them in here. That will give me, oh man, there's a whole nother bait right there. Look at that dude. These are going to take a little finagling to get them in there, right? This little break is brought to you in part by Diet Coke. We're not sponsored by them, but we love them. So, where's that box at? Oh, here it is. All right, here is my extensive collection of big swim baits and glide baits, right? I know it's not very big. Those are my cheap ones from AliExpress. I do have one. That is a true. It's not a knockoff. That's a dark sleeper. I need to get around using that. That color still speaks to me. I know I can catch some fish on that color. If you have to catch a fish on that bait, I think, tossing out, swimming it, using it like I'm using it wrong. I'm using it like a swim bait. I should use it like a jig. So I'm going to try that. Actually, next time I go out, I'm going to put a little more time in that. And I'm just going to cast this dude around. So that's the mag draft in the IU color, IO. So I'm gonna leave it. Oh boy, we gotta find some room. Make some room, guys. We're gonna switch some baits around. There we go, mate. Okay, plenty of room. Plenty of room. Plenty of room right there. So yeah. Cannot afford any more, don't have the money or the space for any more mag drafts. If that one works, we're going to go buy another tackle box. If it works as good as LV500 did. Alright, let's get to the star of the show, right? This guy. Selling this thing real cheap. I guess nobody's going to buy it. It's going to hang around for one more shootout. Try to redeem itself. It's actually a very good working reel. I added the clicker to it. I should just go ahead and put some blue knobs back on it, blue line, and just use it. And I may still do that. None of you guys, I hate to even mess with eBay, to tell you the truth. But I may have to list it for sale. Matt was supposed to see if somebody he knew wanted to buy it. It shows you how hard it is to sell a Shimano around here. Right? Brew Tank will buy it. Come on, Brew Tank. So let me, hang on. Let me get this thing and see if I can just shine it a little bit. I need to wipe it down. I really need to rebuff and polish this whole thing. Steez A2, you got a Steez A2? That's the HLC. They look similar, but I think the blue, just going by the pics from Digitaco or watching videos on it, I think I like this one color-wise better. For what I haven't made out for sure exactly what that A2 looks exactly like. Does it have a blue hue to it like this reel? I think it does. I think it's more of like a matte finish than this one's like a shinier It's not really shiny, but it's more of a gloss finish. I'm stalling. I'm trying to wipe down this. I want to put both these drag stars on. I'm going to take you guys along for this ride. I got to do a little dusting around here. So, where's my brush? Just got this reel in. Cannot leave well enough alone, right? We did, if you guys missed the unboxing, I did not mess with the, and I don't plan on messing with the zero adjuster because I think it's set close. It's probably looser than most of you guys. If you're new and a beginner, I would recommend the first thing I adjusted was that to where a light bait, like a 16th ounce crappie jig, just drops and when it hits the ground, it won't keep unspooling. It'll, trust me, it'll help you, it'll make your, save you a lot of headaches by having that just slightly adjusted. But then you want to pay attention to where if you feel this was right, there's no side-to-side play, and it's pretty free. It's about as free as it can get. Now, I do have the brakes turned up. I did do some rough casting, and honestly, this one feels like it can be set lighter right off the bat. I was throwing into the wind, side with the wind, and everything else, no backlashing, and I managed to get down to there before I just finally went, no, it's too windy to jack around. So the limited Steez likes it around. I can go down to 8, but 8 in the wind is iffy. You could backlash, but 9 or 10, like so. I think it's designed a little freer than these others. It has a little less overall brake force, even than maybe this dude, which is supposed to be the hyper long cast. So, I'd be curious to see. And I'm tempted. It's back in stock at Digitaka. It says same thing this one does, Mag Force Z Boost, but it's a silver, almost like a not polished, but like that rough finished silver with the purple inductor for $104. This one has a purple inductor too. Why they didn't make it blue? It's beyond me. How cool would that have been, right? I guess we should have looked at these. Mag Force Z Boost. Wait a minute, that thing. No, wait, this is different. Okay, I think this one is stiffer all the way and then gets a little stiffer the boost part. Let's check these. Hey, come on. Let's check them out. And if you missed the unboxing, there's also something that I found was new to me. The side plate, I thought these were like identical. Just, I figured this part was identical. The frame of the material was made different, was about the only difference between these. But this thing, if you see the release, there's actually a release down here. Functions the same thing. They're like attached. So on the Steez A's, you can do it top or bottom, and on the, I guess just to lighten it up, maybe is why they didn't add it on the limited, on the ones with the magnesium. It's kind of weird. So I'm taking it that I take that to also mean that you can't interchange. I didn't even try it if the side plates will interchange. I don't think they will because of that. I just now popped in my head to try it. So no, they make that to where side plates have to be, yeah, so that fits in kind of wobbly. There's not enough stuff there, so they are different. It fits perfectly, but the mechanics internally to hold it and work it right aren't there. It's made different down below a little bit, just enough. Now the spool should interchange, no problem. Hopefully, maybe not. Maybe they changed that on me. Oh, they made it bigger. Them dirty dogs. So it is a bigger spool also. So that means this one should fit. So yeah, you would have to get spacers if you wanted to try to swap and put something different in this reel. So we're going to switch up and make this thing look better, right? Oh, I was going to check the inductors. Oh yeah, this is way lighter. That first part, that's the SV part, is like it kicks out real quick and then it's harder. That one was like harder throughout the entire thing. Still amazes me why I would have thought I would have had to turn it up. I don't know. We'll find out when we get out to actually doing the test casting part. Well, let me find my screwdriver. Of course, you have to have a straight. Let me see if anybody commented. Yeah, this is a boost. But it's the SV part on those, that's what... Here, let me take it back apart. So to show you guys the difference, well, first of all, I want you guys to look at the difference. Like, so there, at setting at rest, it looks like the SV is already sticking out. You know what I mean? It's already getting more braking right off the get-go. But then on this one, it's something you guys can't really see. It's a feel kind of thing. I feel resistance like all the way, and then maybe even a little harder right at the end. You could probably see, hear it how it pops back. Like this is a stiffer spring. So it takes more, a harder, you know, harder, more force to kick it out. And then when it, as it slows, it doesn't have to go as slow before it'll start pulling it back in and freeing up the spool to let it get. So that's what should let it get those hyper long casts. Where this one, like, dude, that right there is almost like nothing. Like you can just barely. Then it's a harder pull. That's what that boost. So when you cast hard, like hard as you can, it'll kick it all the way out, but pretty quick it jumps back into that. But then throughout almost the whole cast, it's going to be riding still out. And as you can see, it was already sticking up further than that in the first place, which makes an SV very easy, controllable, especially the newer at bait casting you are, the better kind of thing for you. But then it also can limit the cast. But as you guys can see, when you go do a little shootout video, it's still like right there. Like the distance isn't really that long as you set it right. But this one, in theory, and just by what I can feel right here, I'm surprised I was out there casting it set on number 6 or 7 in the wind like I was. And because the Zillion feels about the same as the Limited, but the Zillion I can go all the way down to like what you guys have seen in the videos, 3 or 4, and it still is like, you know, plenty braked. So yeah, I like this reel. What I may do, I hate to pay that much money for an older Steez A. I should probably just get a Steez A2, the newest one. But I'll be honest, I kind of like the looks of the older one a little better when you find one that's not chewed up. But for the price, and they don't come with a hyperdrive or a boost spool, I can't justify what they want. Used on eBay for one. So anyway, we're going to take this stuff off. Probably not going to put it back on. And while I'm thinking of this wrench, you can get these on AliExpress. These little wrenches are actually pretty awesome. It's like $3. That was not tight at all. I'm telling you right now, for like $3, you can't beat this little carbon fiber wrench. And right now, AliExpress is having all kinds of crazy sales. It's like, wow, that's a different plate than I'm used to seeing. That thing's a big chunk. Wow, that's like a couple. What the heck? It's like a bunch of spacers. That's new to me. It's like a washer. We're probably going to do away with that stuff anyway. We'll put it in the box. That way if we go to resell it, we'll put it all back to how it was. So all we need is a spring. Get out of there. ATD. So we're just going to add, and let's just go with, we're going to put this on, but first I want to try this one first. If I like it, I'm going to leave this one. Let's just try it first. See what we think. And I don't have any other nut options. So that stock one, and they want like $8 for, even on AliExpress, they want $8 for one of these little, you know, colored one. I'm like, nope, I'll just stick with whatever they come with. That's what they're going to get, because that seems like a lot of money to pay for that little thing. So what do you guys think? Now I could just leave the black one and actually track down a black carbon fiber handle. I've got them, but I've got longer ones. Like the ones I've got, they're 95 millimeter. I don't want to put 95 millimeter on it. Honestly, if I start silvering it up out here, gunmetal silver color stuff, it would actually look better with the silver T-wing, like what the Zillion right here does, and the Zillion would look better with the gold one. Do I want to go through all that hassle and switch them around just to be able to switch them back if I go to sell one or the other? I think that looks good. I just think that doesn't look shiny. That's kind of shiny. Everything's shiny except for that. I don't know though. It is almost the same color. That and that is about the same exact color. Oh, we'll try to, I think I've got a blue retainer, nut retainer. Blue line. Yeah, let's just see. We'll try the other one. Start commenting which one you like better. As soon as don't do it yet. Wait till we get it on there. I could actually use them spacer things. I think they fit right on here. This one didn't take that kind of stuff. This is my favorite style, but they don't have like a smoke or gunmetal color. There's either gold, red, purple, I think maybe a pink, and then I deanodized whichever one to get these silver ones, whichever, you know, any of them can be deanodized, take the color off of it basically. Or that one. Now I have to add one of those little things in there. What do you guys think? I think that matches the inside a little bit better, but I think that color goes better with the main two and maybe the new handle. That's almost too bright. Decisions. Let me put the Steez back together. The Steez, that's one thing about this dude. I like it exactly the way it is. I just needed, you know, the knobs. Once I switched out the knobs, that drag star, although it's not metal, it is plastic, but it's got the good cutouts and it's the same color. It just, there's no need to change it. Now, if I was daring and I wanted to get another set of this in the gold, but it may kill the way this looks. This kind of just has that, I don't know, this thing just kind of looks good. It's one of those crazy, you could call it plain, really, but like it's got that crazy color, but it's like that subtle, cool look going for it. Right? I don't know. I can't really make up my mind. None of them would look good like if I go back with black. Like black, I would have to go back with that and leave it stock, but I think the reel was too dark, in my opinion. It's too dark. Especially it's going on the Carbon Light 2.0 more than likely. I think I like the other one. Finally give me a reason to use the Go Back to this. Oh, you know what? I got one other one I could just for shits and giggles. I do have another one I could try. It's right here. This dude. Just to try. I don't know what you guys are thinking. No. I'm thinking no too, but hey, just to try it. This little nut feels plasticky. Or a little screw, not a nut. Must be made out of something even lighter than aluminum. I know, I just wanted to put it on. I thought about trying it on the Zillion 10. Eddie says the gold one from the Zillion. Eddie says he had the TDZ US Trail and a 36mm spool. Those spools may interchange. I don't know. I didn't realize it was a 35, whatever it is, in this dude. I thought it was the same, but I guess they have switched them in order to cast. But no. If this had more blue instead of where it looks green, like it does, it's just kind of cheaper. I don't like it. Do not like it. No, I definitely don't like that. If it wasn't so more, I call it more gold sometimes and purple and green, but that purple and green kind of outdo the blue to where it just doesn't work for me. I'm gonna have to say no on that. I think that's all I got. Try to stick a Shimano one on there. Now I can always switch it back out, but I think what I'm going to do is go with this guy for now. Oh boy, if I can get it on there. I'm going to see. I think these things may actually fit on there and work with this dude. They're like a little, it's basically a little washer system. Oh my god. I'm telling you, it's a washer system. I got to get it. They're like oiled up and everything. So that one goes on over that. That goes on that. Then that goes on. Because this is actually the same handle. This is a Daiwa handle. So I think I'm going to leave it like that for now. Let's see. Hang on. Don't go anywhere. I got to get a few other things. Somewhere I got a blue. Blue. Now my light blue the light blue one never fits on anything. I think it's a Abu Garcia or something. Yeah, it's like crazy long. It's like 50 million miles too long for any. I know I could like retap it, but no. Somewhere I got a couple blue ones. And that's one good thing about when you get those ones from AliExpress. You can get the nut, and it'll come with two blue ones. Like one will be already made for the length, and then one is cut out universal. And those are actually different colors of blues. But let's see if one that doesn't need... Let's see if that one fits. I think that one fits. Okay, so yeah, we'll put that one once I get it tight. On there, we'll probably use the stock nut. Go a little bit tighter. Let's get this baby. I think that's a little bit more. Okay, and I guess we will just stick with the stock since it's silver. Come on. There, that makes it all better. What you guys think? So you gotta imagine lighter blue line in there, and hang on, we're not done yet. We're not done. But wait, there's more. We're still got other stuff to talk about too. So all I got to put, I'll put this, this, and this in the box. Put that back up. Too much black. I'm not a big fan of like the whole murdered out black. Like this, it has silver with some black, like dark, right? So it looks good. Like if this was all black and just that parts were silver, I probably would not like this. The only reel I like the Steezes themselves aren't bad, but I don't know. Once you get in what I consider like a painted or that kind of, it just reminds me of a cheap black. Cheap something, I don't know what you can call it. So let's see if I can get room to get this right in here. Here's what we're putting it on, right? So let's see what it would look like mounted on a carbon light. It still may be too bright. Or I mean too dark. The reel may be too bright. So they feel very good. The Steezes on these things feel very good. So we're going to go with that. I think it'll be fine. So yeah. Any questions? So we'll take our box. Take our little goodies we didn't use. They're brand new. I don't even know how many bearings. I guess it came with all the bearings up in the handle and all that, which doesn't matter now. It's got all of them in that. So now we have, and I'm going to get, I kind of tried these, but I think I'm going to go back with all pretty much blue on most of these. So now we've added another Steez, another Daiwa to the Daiwa family. We got the Ito, the TD Ito's asleep. He's getting old. He's already asleep. It's getting late. So do I want to add more? No, not really. But will I add more? You guys never know. But like I talked about in the unboxing, I was sitting there, you know, checking all these out, looking at them, getting a feel for them, you know, kind of comparing weight. I think I'm going to really like this reel. I had originally planned on this was going to go on my 7-foot heavy. And it was going to be my frog, like throwing long, bombing bigger, heavier stuff out and all that kind of stuff. But Wait, there's more. I jumped on AliExpress today, and believe it or not, you can get the Zillion 10 on AliExpress cheaper than you can anywhere on the planet. Trust me, I looked. So I ordered the Zillion. It's coming. And so since the 7-foot heavy is going to be my frog rod, more than likely, and like heavier jig type stuff. Now it may change, but that 10-to-1, even over the 8-to-1. So it's a possibility this reel, even though it's got this crazy deep spool that I don't even need all that capacity, there's no way I could need it and use it all. I might end up using this on, if it casts like I think it's going to, it could be one of two things. I'll either have this one stick with the 7-foot medium moderate, and this one on a 6'9" medium heavy for chatterbaits, or I may throw this for my chatterbait, since I'm usually on a 6'9" and the 7-foot medium moderate. If this really is a casting machine, half spooled probably is all I need, and still get crazy distance with the 15-pound braid that stuff we're using. The angry, it's actually 18-pound, but it's like a 15-pound or less diameter braid for that. So I'm gonna get them out and just see where I think I want them, for which one for which. And I may end up buying a whole nother 7-foot medium moderate. And I'm not even sure what to do with this guy. He's not going anywhere. He was on a 7-foot heavy. So yeah. Manuel, which one you think's for sale? This one, the Shimano. 200 and, was it, whatever shipping would be, probably 215 bucks. If you buy it right now, today, not tomorrow, but right now, today, I'd sell it with this for 215 shipped. I installed the drag clicker. It's got a few little scuffs if you really look. Got a little scuff right. I don't know if that line's there's like a scuff right here, right there, very little. Like, you really gotta look. I think I just, hang on. Let me see what's scuffed and what's just dirt. But the side plate definitely has a couple little bitty scuff marks, like one up there. And I think what's weird is, I'd swear it's like in the clear coat. I don't know if you guys can see that haze. It's almost like this has a clear coat. It's not really the metal. It's like the clear coat has imperfections, if that makes sense. More than it's been scratched or anything. It's hard to explain. So then everywhere else, I can't tell if that's I don't know. It's in very good shape. It's used. I'm not going to guarantee that it's scuff free. It's going to have a scuff, a scratch here and there. I bought it used. I fished it just like barely, briefly, not much. I mainly added the clicker, and we did some cast testing shootout things with it. I didn't really get out and fish it much at all. I gotta pull that line off. I put this line on the HLC, then just took it back off the HLC so I could have it in the video without any line on it. But that's the older Bantam. If I keep it, I'm going to try to track down and get that the line guide off the newer Bantam. I think will fit, and it'll move it out a little further, and then just go from there. But it's pretty much just a stock 2000, and was that 18 Bantam with the drag clicker installed. Oh, that's already off the market now. Just the reel, 215 shipped. If not, I'll probably just keep it. If I can't sell it for 215, which would be basically 200, I think I gave that for it, 215 or 220. So I'd have to pay for shipping. I'm actually technically going to lose money, because then I spent the money on the drag clicker and put it in. So I ain't in a hurry to sell it. If it doesn't sell for 215, I'll break it out if I ever need it. But for now, I don't really need it. I've got these, like I said, I've got a zillion tin coming that I still don't need. I've got the Acura, the Dark Wolf Ultra, two Lingles, two of the variants, the TD Ito, the yeah, I've still got the Calcutta Conquest BFS XG that I guess since I've already got it, I may just hang on to it, and if I decide to buy the newer one, I'll throw them in a comparison before I worry about selling it. Because it's for sale. I will sell it eventually, but not in a hurry. Gets old enough, it'll be worth more and more money. One good thing about the higher end Shimano and Daiwa stuff, they usually just the value slowly creeps up once they're hard to find on eBay, like in good shape. That's like, not that it'll be there by the time I go to sell it, but this reel, one used but like new condition with the box is probably going to sell for over what I gave for it here before long. Once they go to it, even though they go to a newer one, especially if they go to a newer one that some people don't like, it could also increase the price on what the older ones are. Because this reel is awesome. There's not a ton you could do to improve on this reel. I'm sure they will, but there's not a lot. It already palms comfortably, does everything you'd want it to do. There's not a ton of upgrades to be done, in my opinion. We'll have to see how that finish holds up. This reel, we'll yet to see on a Steez A variant, whether it be this HLC, the A2, for me anyway. I've yet to actually fish one. I'm kind of liking that though. I think I do like that. Definitely looks different. We have two Steezes, but they are different. Magnesium frame, lighter, aluminum frame. In a sense, should be more durable, but these are pretty durable reels. Got a little different look going to them. This reel, as good as I like it, and I think it is, and the best bang for the buck, there's definitely stuff I've already seen they could change. If you guys haven't seen the video where I take the complete top plate off, you don't even really have to have it to fish. The paint is very not good. It is not a durable paint that they used. It looks good. It looks nice. Probably will still look good off faded. It'll kind of look like that, whatever that old Zillion that they actually put out with like a custom on it with that gray that's already faded looking. That's kind of like all these Zillions are going to end up looking like. So there's definitely some stuff that could be upgraded on the Zillion, but they've pretty much got a good deal going with it. And for the price difference, you can't beat this reel. So I'll be hanging on to this one, fishing it. Drag clickers are very good. Even the one I added, aftermarket, sounds a little different. Still sounds good in my opinion. That is with tight drags. I don't know if you can tell how hard I'm turning. I've got the drags. I did set this one. I don't know, this one maybe they should be almost identical on these two. Yeah, I think those are about the same. Sound very good. I still like that. That's the old school clicker. I still like those. That's back when we were having them made. None of them came with them. We were getting them off of Tackle Tour, and the dude Dr. Trout he was selling them on eBay also for like $50 a pop. I think $55 a pop. You can get them now for as cheap as, I've got one for the 10 for like $10. I think this one was 12. The one on the, let's listen to this one while we're at it. The one for this one was like $16, so that's a more about the right price if you want a drag clicker on a reel. Any other questions, comments? I'm gonna get out of here. Bantam. BNT 7054 line guide Paul Holder assembly. Oh, so Eddie must have the newer one. Gave me the part number. What do I go? Like on Platt maybe? Or just call, I don't know. I wish I knew somebody that jumped in there and ordered stuff regularly, like Trey or somebody. Manuel said the Zillion TWHD is a workhorse. I call just this a workhorse. Like, this thing is stout. I think all the Zillions. I think we're still over, well, maybe if you use over 20 or 30 pound braid. I don't know how you could kill one of these reels. Like, I feel these plastic reels that can handle 15, maybe close to 20 pound, like some of the plastic ones can take some abuse. All right, well, thank you, Eddie. And Eddie, Shimano Parts USA. Y'all have to, I don't know, I'd rather just sell it. You ought to buy it. Somebody ought to buy it. $215 with drag clicker already installed. Get out of here. What my plan was to do, if I would really like these. Brew tank, always looking for jackhammers. Trying to get a free jackhammer. You know how these kayak guys are. Always want to get free stuff. Oh, that reminds me, I wanted to talk about that before I get out. You know me, I always want to talk about everything. But before I get out of here, I just wanted to get my 2 cents out there, just so you guys know, and I'm sure most of you guys already probably know, my take on a few things. But first, I'm going to tell you what I was going to do with this reel. And I still should. I got this reel, what first put this reel in my mind was it's all aluminum. It palms small and excellent, feels good, on any reel really, but real good on the 2.0s. Like any reel you put this on, it's going to palm comfortable and feel good. What I wanted to do, and I just can't make myself do it because it is such a huge tank of weight, but I was going to dismantle the whole reel, de-anodize this, the main frame, and then the side plate, completely de-anodize it, and send it off and have it, engraved of some sort. Kind of like they do with the old fly reels. I'm sure you guys have seen them here and there. But basically have it engraved, and I wouldn't even know what style to use. Maybe, old, or maybe in some kind of Japanese letter. Just something on it so it'd be different, and then polished. Keep it polished up like you do the AI, the Alphas AI, Ito AI that I had, that similar kind of thing, but in a engraved reel, because this is one you could do it with, because it's all aluminum. Any of the other reels that you would get, the old original, I think it's the Gen 1 and maybe the 2, the Revo STX, not the Premier, but the STX had an aluminum side plate, frame, and palming and reeling side plate. You could have done something like that with that reel too. But most reels have a plastic over here for years. I don't know for sure when they switched, but so you could technically do it just like with the Ito AI. You could kind of do it with that reel if you wanted, but you'd have that clear or whatever side plate. This reel, you could actually, since half of the frame comes over here anyway, you could technically, if you wanted to, leave that alone, but that would be cool to also have something put on it too, and then some different stuff, even if it wasn't a ton, but just to give it that kind of old, maybe something to do with, bigger baits, because you can, consider this like for bigger baits, even though it's small, compact, but it's a beast, right? So I thought about doing something like that, and then I'm just like, nah, because honestly, it just kind of looks too good right now to go through all that trouble and tearing it all down, and so I don't know. I haven't decided yet. And unfortunately, all of the Steez reels, I believe even the older, since they've made a Steez, I believe the side on this side is just plastic. I'm not even sure if any old Daiwas ever had a metal side plate. Some of you guys may be able to comment on that. Sometimes this color does look weird, but it is a dark, basically a navy blue. It's like a navy blue, and then these are like a different blue, the aluminum. Sometimes it looks like a grayish color. That's just in the lighting or on the camera thing. It's not in person. In person, I'd call it a very dark navy blue. So, yeah, I know. Brew Tank's like, do it. Eddie's a lefty. Dang it, Eddie. You're all jacked up. I want to talk real quick because I heard John Cruz talking about it again today. I've heard Randy Blunk or whoever, the intuitive angler that always reminds you to go to his place and click on his maps. Everybody and their brother, including Charles and Jay, I've heard Jay's comments on it, and Matt had one. The live scope, the forward-facing sonar, and John Cruz was talking about it like, will that, destroy a fisheries? Will our fisheries, are they going, we're all going to hell kind of things. The fisheries are going downhill. What will it do? So I'm just going to give you my input on how I feel about pretty much anything to do on some of these categories when it comes to fishing. My take, how I feel. Some of you may already have an idea. So a while back, a good buddy of mine, Hillbilly, he kind of taught me, he was maybe one of the first ones of what you call, you use like bro science when you calculate and you figure something out. It's not true science, but as much as our brains can kind of interpret, knowledge or what we've learned or how you look at something, he kind of taught me there's like to know basically right from wrong. Is this the right way or is this the wrong way? He was kind of showing me to do with an RC car. But like if you're making a change, whether it be, is it a good change or a bad change? Well, it's hard to judge. Like say you're choosing a path. Now, if you're just going down and you're choosing your path and you're not looking out far enough ahead, well, then you're always going to be going this way, and then you're going to have to readjust, and then you're going to do this way. If you just would have looked out where you want to go and went there, you go there, right? It's kind of a simple process. It's the same thing if you're making adjustments on something or for whatever thing you're going to do. Take it to the extreme. And everything, when your thought process, take it to the extreme. So, for instance, when it comes to this live sonar thing, right? Like for me, right now, this, last year, the year before, whenever it first came out, probably maybe even 3 to 5 years from now, what our thoughts are or what it is probably really doesn't matter. You won't be able to see enough of a difference. But if you look, here's just me thinking out loud, long term. Right now they're expensive, right? But let's just say they make these things affordable, right? Just like fishing from a boat's affordable, right? Everybody and their brother you can go out and buy a kayak. You can buy a used kayak. Everybody and their brother can go out and get in a kayak and go fishing. And some of you will have your opinion on that. Is that a good or a bad thing? Just like here locally, James A. Reed, it's a bunch of little bitty, they call them lakes, but they're really like ponds kind of things, grouped together. They're starting 3 or 4 of them. They're going to allow kayaks to fish. Never before. They had like 1 or 2, you had to rent a boat from them kind of thing if you wanted to be out in a boat in that place. So they're going to open that up for kayaks. So, there's your take on, the kayak thing. But let's just like shoot way out there. Let's take it to the extreme. Let's say that they make this live scope affordable enough that everybody and their brother can have a live scope. It probably never will, but let's just say they did that. So then you got everybody and their brother in a 2-man bass boat, a John boat, whatever, and everybody's got live scope. Now, it may not happen, but what I've already heard, I've just heard some of the rumors, people talking about like how they're using these live scopes. In theory, my theory anyway, is the minute you give everybody and their brother one, well, guess what? Then you got some bad seeds that also have them. So what I feel in long term it's going to be harmful to bass fisheries with the live scope and maybe every kind of fishery because you'll get guys out hunting these fish, these giants, right? Now, can you call it a sport? Like they still gonna have to go out there, get in their boat, go out there. But like once you spot a big blob, if you just chase it down, that's what you spend your day doing. And some guys spend their days chasing after big bass with swim baits and different stuff like that. Some guys go spoon billing, right? All day or whatever. So I'm not telling you if it's right or wrong, but what I foresee happening is you'll get these big bass hunters basically once they can afford it, and they're probably the type of guys, they're not like me, they're probably not going to turn that fish back loose. They'll probably yank it out and it'll be some monster or whatever, and they'll probably want to run it somewhere. And I just, in the future, in my mind, if this technology becomes affordable enough, they'll have to figure out some way to, in my opinion, regulate or limit it. It's kind of like hunting. Okay, we have seasons and limits on hunting, and you're just like, oh, well, we do that for fishing too, Charlie. Well, we do, and we did until you get this kind of technology coming out there. Just like now, you can go buy these little drones. This hadn't even been talked about. You can get a little underwater drone that basically can follow fish around. So you can be out there with your live scope, click on your little drone, throw it down there, pinpoint it onto the fish, and it's chasing the fish around. Like, you know, then here's another thing. You got guys, and you can't say they're not already out there doing it. There's already been one, I forget his name. I keep wanting to say Mike Buka, but he's just the one that makes the baits. But that guy was known for catching big bass. You guys know what I'm talking about. Got caught throwing them in pits and pulling them back out and making it look like he was doing something he wasn't. But you get guys like that out there. They're not going around fishing for those fish. They're seeing big blobs and they're going out there and they're jigging, going to be trying to catch those fish. And then it's up to them to say how they, oh, look what I caught, right? That kind of stuff can go on. So the only thing keeping a big giant bass safe was the fact that it had water. It had a way to hide, right? With this live sonar, nothing can hide. It'd be basically going out deer hunting in a helicopter at night with, oh, what do you call it? You're having like your all the night vision, and you've also got heat, the vision technology, and you're chasing after these deer. It's like, you know, there's reasons why you can't do that this way, but I don't know. So when I look at if I take it to the extreme, it could go very badly for fisheries if this, you know, the technology that's out there right now makes it to the mainstream where everybody and their brother can afford it. Like honestly, right now, I feel like you see a lot of guys out there fishing. It's just change of fishing. Like in my mind, it's not fun to just go out and sit over the top of something you see on a thing, just jigging, waiting for them. Just you're basically hounding them into biting that bait eventually, following the school around kind of thing. It's definitely not fun. Like for me, I'm not a tournament fisherman, but I like the whole point of I'm not a huge flipping and pitching kind of guy. I like to cast and, you know, move and search around and that kind of deal. But I'm not sure what your guys' takes on it. Eddie says, yeah, Mike Long, the bass snagger. Yeah, thermal imaging. Yeah, and that's the thing, like, yeah, don't worry. Chicken fried steak, Charles has a kayak too. I still let him fish with me. Barely, though. And it could all be like, you know, and yeah, the biggest thing, not that it hurts fisheries, but the I feel fisheries have to adapt also. Like you've had a surge in the last couple years, and it'll probably fade right back out. You know, bunch more people fishing, going out. So I feel fishing's definitely gone downhill, you know, last year or so, but it'll probably bounce right back up. And then you're going to have a lot of cheap kayaks and a lot of this high-end bait, along with Ford Bronco Sports, Charles, and once everybody realizes they don't like country living out fishing all the time kind of thing. But some of us do. That's what we've done all our lives. But yeah, and I don't think that the fisheries aren't hurting. The fishermen are hurting because it's just there's more. what you're used to catching and you're used to doing it, you're basically spreading out those bites with other anglers and stuff like that. But I can tell you, in small bodies of water, all it takes is one person that is just bound determined to, you know, and you guys know they're out there. There's people that they don't go by any kind of regulations and limits or whatever. They just go fishing, they catch something, they throw in the cooler, and then they go home and they clean it. I mean, there's people like that. They're all over the world. I, for one, and catch and release, and sometimes keep them, clean them. Charles will keep some sometimes. He cleans them and eats them. We actually had fish not too long ago. So it's perfectly fine. And it's perfectly fine as long as you're sticking by what the regulations are. But I could just see, in my opinion, you're not going to weed out bass, just like you're not going to weed out a crappie of a place. But you can definitely go in. It's just kind of like most places, the reason they come around, in my opinion anyway, they'll naturally cycle through, but you can help that cycle and speed it up by when a fishery jumps in, and even on when it's televised. Like, look what happened. I'm sure you go down to Falcon Lake right now, it's nowhere near as good as it was before that Bassmaster went down there, and they just showed everybody and their brother that was fishing that tournament pulling in monsters, and that place has been hounded since then, I'm sure. So it'll probably take a while to recover, and just all of them. And then now with the, like you talked about, fish brain, or just the internet in general, everybody kind of knows where the better lakes are, and it's hard to, not be able to just jump on there and figure out that, within, maybe a 2 to 4 hour drive from you, what would be the best lake to go to and hit. So naturally, those are going to take more of a pounding. But just like here locally, we've got, I feel if you want to drive right in the Kansas City area, half hour, 40-minute drive just to go fishing, they're all over like fish because they're just so, the population in the Kansas City, Independence, up north in Liberty, and where, you have Smithville Lake, not a very big lake. You've got Watkins Mill, which is a small, just barely probably big enough to be considered a lake, a little lake, and a few other handfuls. Then if you go over here, you got Jacomo, Prairie Lee, and a lot of people probably don't even know about Prairie Lee. So that's above Jacomo. That's probably why it's pretty good fishing a lot of times. And the gate opens and closes at sun up to sundown kind of thing. So you're limited window on when you can fish kind of deal. And then Blue Springs Lake gets hounded by, like, it's just nuts with the wake, with all the craziness, overloaded with boats once it gets warm enough. So for me, back when I fished in and around this area, Lake Jacomo, it was hands down, it's a sailboat, mainly with the 40-horse limit for the pontoon boats and a 25-horse limit for John boats, fishing type boats. So I had my 17 tournament tracker with the 25 horse for that reason. And I mean, I felt on any given day I could catch a 5-pounder out of Jacomo. Maybe I didn't every day, but I could. And a lot of the days I did. And then you'd always, 2 and 3 pounders here and there. 6, 8, 10 fish maybe a day kind of thing, which was pretty good, I felt, because they were always doing tournaments. Jacomo probably still does to this day. When they open up for the year, they'll be doing, the marine opens up, they start doing tournaments. And I want to say there's 2 or 3 through the week, and then there's one on the weekend. So there's at least 3 tournaments a week, plus just daily there's always 10 or 15 boats coming in and out of that. And Lake Jacomo looks real long, but that's not a big body of water. You can fish the whole area in one day. Like, I can hit all the spots that I felt I needed to hit in like 4 or 5 hours kind of thing. 6 or 8 tops, and I've hit it all hard, maybe went back and hit the other spots. It's not that big of a place. So I don't know what the answer is. Maybe just throwing more money at it. Charge more money for the initial fishing license and stock it up. Or maybe just do like they did at James A. Reed. Build some of these smaller ponds and put everybody with their live scopes and their kayaks over fishing the smaller, little mini lakes and ponds. Right? But yeah, and that's the thing. And then also you got to remember just this fact. If you're like me, and I'm not saying I'm a good fisherman, but I'm a fisherman. I go a lot. Me and Charles, we go fishing a lot. We pressure bodies of water ourselves. That's why it's a good idea just to go hit different areas, hit them at different times, hit them in different direction. Like, I'm not kidding you. I've caught myself before going to the same place, and I always like fishing out of my boat the same way. So I go the same way. I would bet you I've cast the same bait to the same stump at the same time in the same direction, multiple times. So a lot of times just changing up, you pressure your bodies of water, and so changing up how you fish can also just change the whole day. Maybe it's a matter of, instead of going as soon as the sun comes up, just wait until 10 or 11 and then fish until the sun goes down, or hitting a body of water starting out at the different direction, or hit the places where you'd normally start first, go there last, and hit somewhere first where you normally go, just to keep it changed up. Even if you're not going to do as good, you just you kind of keep them guessing, I guess, kind of deal with the fish. Unless you just always do good every time you go to a certain place at that time. There's also spots that just feels that are like that way. I've known before too, though. So anyway, yeah, I plan on so there's another few places out just off I-70. There's Maple Leaf Lake, and it can be good or decent at times. I think me and Matt, what did we hit it once or twice last year, and it wasn't that good. I never have that great of luck there. It's kind of one of those places where I think they hold a couple different kid type tournaments where like people come in droves and fish, like they have overloaded with boats a couple different times a year, and it's always getting pounded from the bank. There's like the huge little walkout areas and stuff, and it's not horrible, but I don't know. There's the Odessa Reservoir, which I got my permit again. I didn't hardly fish it last year. I need to go more this year. I had that one good day. When I did go hit it. I hit it and ran into Bonsai Guy, and did pretty good. I caught 6 or 8 in a short amount of time. It's a pretty cold day too. On the Jabberjaw was the main one that day, and the deeper water off the rocks. But when I was fishing the reservoir more often, I had a few different, spots I had figured out where I knew where a shaky head worked, and certain times of the day when it got hot, I had a few deeper holes, and there was nothing on those holes that day I went, or a couple times I went last year. That place is either overloaded with grass, overgrown, or there's like hardly no grass, and so it fishes different every couple years. But I already plan on hitting it more this year. Like, that's going to be one of the places when I'm just by myself, no Charles, no Matt. I'll probably be hitting it. And it's the Odessa Reservoir. I got a couple other. Basically, we have very small lakes, pits, and ponds, and then a couple mid-sized lakes. Now, Matt's out of commission right now. Not going to go into details, but the Skeeter boat Matt had is gone. He sold it. He's looking to be buying another one. I don't know when that's going to happen. So the bigger bodies of water are out, unless Charles wants to put on some big monster one on his John boat for now. But yeah, if I got another boat, I would probably get a John boat. I would want to get, and I hate the regulations they've got. I would want to get a very little John boat with the 25 horse motor, because a 25 horse motor does not go that fast. You can get I want to say they make a 16-foot bass tracker. You can put a 70 horse on it. So if you can put a 70 horse on a 16-foot, why can't I get a 10-foot John boat and put a 25 on it? Then that way, even if they, because I'm thinking Giacomo, I want something right with 25 horse, but then I want to go to a bigger body of water, and I won't have to spend half the day just getting from one end to the other with the 25 horse. So you'd almost need to have a bigger boat and then a little pony 25 horse on the side to fish Giacomo, and then go hit Smithville, go down maybe to Truman, you know what I'm saying? All those different places. And I don't want to have to own, I don't even really want to own one big boat. I don't want to have to own 2 or 3 different sized boats in order to accommodate all these different waters. But it wouldn't hurt my feelings if they would open up one of these little, and that's the thing. I'm stuck in the guys with the little John boats. like you've seen the Tiny Boat Nation guy, and he's building all these different electric ones. But there's like no turn. Everybody and their brothers now got these kayak online tournaments. Basically, you can just have a kayak, and you can be signed up online and go record what you caught that day and different stuff. But they, I guess technically they let a guy go on a two-man boat. But what me and Emily did when we went up to Watkins Mills, we were signed up to the Tiny Boat Nation thing, which what I took it was a little bitty boat, but and you know it's not like they were cheating, but they allowed these guys that had a bigger boat with the actual gas motor, and ended up I think Grady won it with just a little 10-foot aluminum John boat, fishing a chatterbait, but I don't know. You guys comment in this video. Let me know what you think about the whole live scope. It wouldn't hurt my feelings if they just banned it all. You had to go out and all you could have was a boat and a trolling motor and a motor. Right? I definitely, though, I'm too lazy to bank fish too much. I like to be in a boat. I like to be in a boat I can stand up. That's why I'm out of kayaks. All the different people I've heard talk about it, from the guys here locally, Charles, you're one of them. Boneseye guy, you're two. Who else locally? There's somebody else kept telling me. And all the guys I've watched fishing, oh man, you stand up, no problem, guys, no problem. But yet I see them, and you'll see a little short clip of video. They're standing up fishing, maybe one hook set, and then that's it. Every time you see them fishing in a kayak, they're sitting down. I have a hard time sitting down in my boat. I'm always standing up. Two-man bass baby, two-man bass boat. The widest, it's only 8 foot long, but it's 56 inches wide. The most stable, I call it more stable than any John boat I've been in. It's not as stable as a good bass boat once you get bigger, but I call it almost as stable as any of my, like when I had my tournament, it was 17 foot, probably not much wider, if any, than my boat. But with that foot operated, I feel like I'm not as high as you would be on a bass boat, but I feel as stable and as able to maneuver, turn the boat, turn myself. I just kind of lean up against that seat, and I'm not. I may have to sit down because I'm a moron and I lean wrong or something, but I'm not going to fall out of that boat. Yeah, the Zillion 10 I've got coming is the black. It's the black reel with the real cool looking blue side pieces here, and then the two guards that are blue, and then it's got the side plate like these Steezes do. But if you guys are seriously thinking, I don't know, maybe you wait and see if it comes out. But I ordered a Salamandura off of AliExpress and it was fine. But I tracked down that reel. Right now you can go and get the Zillion 10. I want to say it's $237. I clicked on it, and then they're going to charge you tax, and then so by the time it was done, I want to say it was $254 shipped to me. Of course, AliExpress, I'll see it in a month. But I already have tracked down a $10 drag clicker for it, so it's going to get knobs like this. I might try one of these. I may actually even order another one of these, see if I get one with more blue on it. But we will doctor it up when it makes it in. And I want to order, I almost did it, the Magzy Boost spool. Because I think this one's all by itself. I think the other one is actually 34 millimeters, and it'd fit right in that Zillion 10. So I would have maybe the best long distance spool in the fastest reel. This thing's real free and smooth already. I don't know, 5 or 10 casts outside earlier and reeling it back in, so it's still brand new. Feels good. Feels just as good as this one. Like if unless you're paying attention when you grab them, and you can feel that this one's a little lighter. The weight is not really that big of a. It's not really like, oh wow, this one's a lot heavier. If I think about it, then I can feel it. If I'm just grabbing one to the other, it's not really a. Feels good. We'll see what it performs like. Of course, this guy. You're hearing the line. It's loose in there, the leader. This guy's probably more free than both of those, but he's got like way more, like almost a whole season. Well, actually a whole season over those two as far as being used. All right, that's it. I gotta go. We're setting records. Yes, Eugene. Why are you always second guessing me, Eugene? Yeah, I know. The newest Bantam you can get for whatever, but this one comes with a clicker. It still has that worm gear, and I would challenge you right now, Eugene, if you pulled any of those new ones out of the package and turn them, they're not going to be as free as this one out of the package. I don't know if they'll free up or not. I'm just telling you, once I went up and felt the Rogers Sporting Goods, I want no part of a new Bantam. I don't want any part of a new Metanium. I don't want any part of the new, what I was thinking about getting, and I need to look. I was right there at Cabela's and I didn't even look. They got the Corrado 150 DC. I was wanting to look and see if they still have this style or not, because them new Bantams, all of them that have that new black, if it's black, it's plastic. I feel a resistance in those reels. So that's why I've kind of shied away from Shimano. I think this one, other than that one piece, I kind of like this reel better than the new one anyway. But I was kind of hesitant. I thought maybe this would have a resistance I would feel due to those mag seal. And I don't know why I thought that. I thought those mag seal bearings had a resistance to them. But this one feels fine. Like I don't feel... It feels free. There's no... like if you guys remember, right, the Aldebaran 22. Brew tank, you have it. You tell these guys. It's got like a slight... You can feel it. You can tell. It's not horrible. It's not just... And once you get out in the water casting and reeling and all that, like you can't even tell. But, bench racing, bench testing it, you can feel it on those Shimanos. That's just one of the extra little things is why I kind of went with these Daiwas. I was hoping all the spools would interchange, but clearly that's not the case with that one. But if I hate that spool, I could track down the spacers and put a spool I did like. I'd hate to spend that much money, though. I'm sure I like this spool. It felt fine. I mean, like you see, I was set there casting a frog, threw all the line off of it, and I was like, yep, not enough line, so I have to... Which is 20 pound, and it was only about halfway full, so... This may be what they say it is, a casting machine. Send them slobber knockers and jabberjaws out there as far as they can go. Just whopper plopping and all kinds of stuff. Right? Sure we will. All right, I gotta go. I gotta go to bed. Maybe. 91 minutes. Where you been, Jay? We've been waiting on you. All right, guys, we can shut her down now. Jay's here. See you later, chicken fried steak. Well, here's the thing, because chicken fried steak commented about bigger guys and standing up. I don't have a problem with standing up. The problem I have, I'm going to knock on some wood. I have come close to throwing myself out of my boat on hook sets, or out of any boat. So, yeah, that's why me in a kayak, you may see me fishing one, because I've been debating about doing that. If you guys remember that box I put together, right? Not this box, but I put together a box that, just take it fishing. What I may do is get with Charles and be like, Charles, let me use his good kayak, the one you set in. You guys have seen it at the New View or whatever, and then he can come out in one of his other kayaks. But I'll take just my box of my favorite baits in a kayak and go fishing like that or something. Yeah, not the 5 bait challenge. It's all the bait challenge. Here, I'm going to get the box right here. If Charles will... He have to come with me to pull me out when I flip his kayak over, but I take just a one rod and reel, and then this right here. Just take this box, one rod and reel, go out in Charles's kayak, and see how many fish I can catch. Now it's going to have to be a little warmer to where I'm not going to die of hypothermia if I fall in and out of that kayak. But I'll try standing up and all this and that. Then I'm going to put together a video in Charles's bigger boat with all the other baits. Maybe on the same weekend or whatever. Maybe in the same body of water. Maybe a totally different body of water. But we got a lot of videos coming up. We just got to let the times we're off work and the weather to cooperate, and we'll be out there. So anyway, Jay, we got to go. I still got to go get all of these square bills to fit. All the new square bills, there's no room. We can't even put a can we put a Rocco in our new bait challenge? That's my new favorite bait. No. All these baits should work. In theory, every bait in here, the reason it's still in here is either I have caught a fish off of it or I've caught multiple fish on it, except for there's a very few of the Jabberjaw colors. That's brand new bait, but I know they'll work. These 1.5s, because that 1.5 right there I've done good on. And up until tonight, that was the only, I believe, Lucky Craft 1.5 I've ever bought was that dude back when I was doing some testing. But that color really looks good. Of course, our crawl color. Yeah, gotta go, guys. Oh my God, I gotta get these things to fit in here. My OCDs, I won't be able to sleep tonight. Yeah, Jay, that one, what's funny is, like, I pulled one of my favorites out and I went back through just glancing in those boxes, and it's like, you know what? There's still a lot of good baits in every box. Like, I guess I've kind of evolving over to where there's a lot of good, you know, favorite baits. Like these little flat-sided ones. These two dudes right here, like either that color or this color. Anytime I go out on the water, I feel either one of these, you know, they may want one over the other, but those little flat-side dudes will catch fish too. I just don't like in these guys in clear water, fishing them slow, clear shallow water. They do not go deep. They're hard to cast and they don't go real deep, but those little suckers. I went out that one day in a video. I even had it made it in a video. I think I made the first cast or second cast. I was talking about use brighter, louder baits, and all of a sudden, boom, I had like a 5-pounder on that dude. They just have their time and place. They're kind of discontinuing them, I think, on... they have a crazy hunting like you wouldn't believe. They're just they're not a burn it bait. A lot of guys, most common everybody wants something you can burn. A lot of these baits, they're just a slower, finesse-y type baits, and man, they just flat work. Heck, I got baits over there that I have pulled out that I plan on selling for $1 or $2 a piece that are actually very good baits. I don't have any room for none of it. I don't want to go any bigger in my tackle boxes. I would have to have a 21-foot nitro or something. Square bill giveaway. Actually, I'm not going to have a giveaway, but just to show you, I've already went there, if you remember right. I sold like over $200 some worth of stuff to Charles and the Amish down there. By the way, the Amish are decimating the bass after I sold them all my baits, but no, not really. But this is just what I've got. There's the Freak in there. There's a couple Berkeley baits. There's one of those deep diving. They've already came and went. Those deep diving Strike King. I hate those baits. There's a couple swim baits. There's another. Some buzz baits. There's a topwater lure star. There's one of those broken baits that I tried roughly, and they may do okay, but I just weeded them out. There's a couple. Oh, here's the whatchamacallit. I just don't like it. Like, it doesn't swim right. That's the 6 cents version of basically the Jabberjaw. It's big and bulky, takes up room. There's another Mega Bass knockoff. I don't know, there's probably 40, that's a couple of different chatterbaits. There's another, there's actually a custom painted freak that I'm not a fan of those freaks anymore. All kinds of baits in there. Just another batch about ready to go bye-bye. I'm just slowly adding different stuff to it. Maybe not all, but I guarantee you over half of these. Actually, one of those is the one Emily caught her big giant bass on. I probably ought to give those to her, but nope, I won't talk to her anymore. She's on her own. So yeah, going to bed. You guys stay tuned. Oh, that's another thing. Jesus, you guys aren't going to let me go to sleep. Charles said he wanted these, and I haven't really priced them to him. I haven't even told anybody about it. But here, because I am done with the single lifestyle, right? No, I'm still single, but I'm only keeping 2 handles. So if you look in there, there's single lifestyle handles. There's all the different knobs I've cut and made. Like there's like 12 handle assemblies, some metal, some carbon fiber. There's like 70, I don't know, there's a bunch of individual. Problem with a lot of these, some of them are mates, they're not even cut or anything. The problem with a lot of these, I made them back when I was doing single, so I didn't even make another one to match up to it. They're just they're one-offs. So unless you did the single lifestyle, now some of them do match up. And there's a few of these, there's a couple sets of the press cork ones that match up. So this whole, I don't know if you guys can make out the size of that. All of that right there is going bye-bye. So if Charles don't offer me the right amount of money for it, because he said he wanted it or was interested in it. We do have both of these now. Finally tracked down both of the aluminum deals. There's a couple complete handle assemblies. So yeah. All this is going bye-bye. Charles, where you at? Are you listening? You watching? Because I'm keeping the one, I'm only keeping 2. The one that is on the lingle that I custom made the length, and then this dude right here. That was originally on the, was that the SS Air? No. I think that was a T3 Air is what this one originally came on. There's only a few of the Daiwas that were made that thick with that styling, and when I cut it down, it was one of the first ones that I made. One of the other first ones I made is in here. It's just a stock 80mm Daiwa, but this was an 80mm, and then that shorter millimeter one I kept that's on the Joker right now, and this one. That's the only 2 I'm keeping. Because I can always make more. They're very simple. I've told you guys how to make them I don't know how many times. Is there a whole handle assembly in there? Oh, there might be. But anyway, look at all that stuff. And as you can tell, I think there's 3 red knobs. So you got a pair and then a single. There's one of the lychee style ones. I don't know whatever happened to the other one. And yeah. A bunch of goodie bag, grab bag. But I think I want to say there was 12 of the actual handle assemblies. Yeah, you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 2 aluminums. Oh, there's a full set of the lingle deals in there somewhere. That one doesn't count. There's 1 carbon fiber one. There's a bunch. There's some other ones. One here, one of the smaller, like 80mm with the lychee style on it. There's the one with the blue deal and the loose ones in there somewhere. There's another one of the regular, just 80mm Daiwa ones. Charles got first dibs. He didn't seem too enthused. He's like, I might want a couple, but I'm like, dude, I'll auction them off. Yeah, the thing is, the single lifestyle, it's one of those things that came and went. I did it for a lot of years. Kind of still looks cool, and you never know. I could go right back to it. Thing is, I could just $6 to $10 handles is all you need. So there's the one I'm keeping for sure. That little short dude on the Joker, legal variant, and then at some point this dude, which I have in mind, is if I get the Calcutta Conquest, the new one, I'm thinking I'm going to end up putting this guy on it. It looks rough right now because that'll all be covered with the handle, repolish it up, and then the nut retainer, it all looks like brand new again. So just two, the aluminum ones, they're harder to make anyway. The carbon fiber ones are so easy. They're just, if you have a Dremel, all you need is a Dremel tool and half a brain like me, and you can make them. They're not that complicated. That's what people were wanting. By the time it took me though to make them, you know, just my time invested in making each one, half hour, 45 minutes, you're going to have to charge like $25 on top of the cost to get it to you. So then it turns a $10 or $12 handle into a $40 thing. So I never tried to worry about doing it. So yeah, if Charles doesn't want in on that, I may go ahead and start, I don't know, doing some kind of deal. Try to sell them to one of you guys as like a whole lot. I don't want to have to worry about trying to sell them individually. Even if I give them away, in all honesty, I don't want to give them away individually because then I got to set and package each one up in its little thing and mail it off to you guys. So I don't, honestly, me and the post office don't get along right now. All right, guys, I got to go. This is the longest ever. I think we just set a record. 1 hour and 46 minutes talking about live scope. You missed the live scope talk, Jay. Go back and watch the deal, but put your comments below on what you think about it. We'll have to wait and see, but I think it could go very badly if they... It's almost one of those things at some point they may have to regulate it, in my honest opinion. Because well, I don't know. I guess if a guy got good enough and he wanted to go out and... But how do you tell if somebody's jigging fish or, you know, actually fishing or netting or whatever kind of deal? Yeah, I don't know. I've done worried about it long enough. I'm not going to worry about it anymore tonight.